Hi everybody, I'm Sandeep Kang. I manage the support desk at Invu, and I'm just going to do a sort of short piece just to cover off what Stuart briefly mentioned earlier, which was Email Manager. It's a module in Invu which allows you to capture emails automatically. Stuart mentioned sort of emails being very chaotic, just generally within an organisation. You've got emails going in and out, no real order to them. So with Email Manager, what we're trying to do is sort of allow you as a business to bring order to the chaos that is emails. Well, especially with accountants, it will allow you to manage your emails to and from clients. We've got accountants out there who do just that. They want to know and store emails that have gone from client A and what's come in from client A, etc. You can also use Email Manager to drive an orders process as well. So if you've got a generic sort of inbox, orders at mycompany.com or sales at mycompany.com, you can monitor that mailbox and have the emails that come into that mailbox filed in Invu and subsequently kick off a workflow, which can then, jumpstart your processing. The Email Manager solution as a whole can be separated into two parts. There's a server-side rules engine, which effectively it runs on your Invu server. It monitors your Exchange server, and it captures emails automatically based on a set of rules that are configured. You can set up some basic rules, or you can do something a little bit more complex using a sort of a customized DLL, which you can point to your finance database or another third-party customer database, which just contains all email addresses and all customer details. And Email Manager will just look at the email address and file the emails away in Invu. The second half, or the second part to it, is the Outlook add-in, which is known as the Email Assistant. And what that does, it just provides visual feedback within Outlook to let you know whether or not an email is saved in Invu already or not. And it does that using sort of a category flag or a little column with a tick box in it. The advantage of that is it prevents duplicate emails from being stored in Invu when you don't really need to be storing duplicates. There's 5 steps within the processing as a whole. So step 1, where Invu will just, as I mentioned, capture emails from your email server. You can configure email capture to look at a user mailbox, individual user mailboxes. So as I said, orders or sales or individual staff mailboxes. You can have it look at group mailboxes and also a journal account. I think 95% of customers tend to just point email capture to a journal mailbox, because it just pulls everything from the organisation, and using your rules you can filter those out, store what you want and discard anything you don't want. We support IMAP POP3, and you can also process emails that are already stored within Invu. So if you've been putting emails into Invu prior to getting Email Manager, you can configure Email Manager to look within the system and reprocess those if you wish. As I mentioned, item number 2, the engine itself uses rules, a set of rules. So an example will be, the to is sales at mycompany.com. If it matches that email address on the to or the from, then it can file it into a certain specific area within Invu. You can also use subject rules. So if the subject contains order number, anything with an order number in the subject, you can again file that away into a specific location. And things like that. Item 3, it stores the email as well as the attachments. So once the email enters Invu, it does separate them, and it stores them both in Invu. And then using that, as it says there, you can optionally kick off a workflow to kickstart your processing, your order processing process within Invu. Item number 4, the content of the emails and their attachments get indexed and OCR'd. So if you've got PDF attachments or TIFF attachments that come in, they're fully content searchable, completely OCR'd. The emails themselves, the content, the metadata that we pick up off the emails, the tos, the froms, the subjects, all of that is completely searchable in Invu. And number 5, once emails are processed from the Exchange server, from the mailbox, the journal mailbox, the emails are marked as read, they're flagged as read, so that we don't reprocess them again. And there's an option to delete them as well. So to kind of keep your mailboxes a little bit tidy. Once we're done with them, there's an option to just delete once we've processed. I briefly mentioned that we have a bit of advanced functionality whereby you can use a custom DLL or to point at a finance database. Again, that falls into the rules engine part. We've got, as an example, Iris. Anybody who uses Iris, you store your client names, client IDs, and contact email addresses in Iris. So you can just configure using a DLL to just look at Iris, do a cross-reference between the two address and the address stored in Iris. If it finds a match, it'll file it. If not, you can set up sort of default actions to dictate what happens to an email if it's not matched. So you can still have it go into Invu, or you can just completely ignore it. This second portion that I mentioned was the add-in toolbar. This is what it looks like. This is Office 2010. That's what it looks like. If you haven't got the email assistant, or if you've not seen it, you will only generally be aware of the index and my in tray. In the existing Office add-in, you've got the option to send to your in tray and file and save an email via Outlook. What we've done is kind of enhance that, added some more functionality. So along with the index and my in tray, you can also send an email to another user's in tray within Invu. So if you've been sent an email but it should have gone to someone else, rather than forward it on, you can stick it in Invu, send it to someone else in their in tray, so they're aware that it's in there. And once it's in there, that user will also see feedback in Outlook to say it's saved in Invu. You can also send emails to group in trays. So if you've got a group in tray in Invu that a number of people have access to, you can put the emails in there, and then they can be filed from the group in tray manually at a later stage. The favourites and recents, if you find yourself sending a lot of emails or into Invu that need to go to the same person pretty much all the time, then you can save it as a favourite and just constantly just send it to them just for ease of use. Because if you've got a lot of people in the organisation and you select user in tray, it will just give you a list of all the users. But if you've got a sort of a hot list of 10 people, 5 people that you tend to send emails to on a regular basis, save it as a favourite. And again, recent in trays kind of speaks for itself. As I've mentioned, all emails and their attachments are indexed and saved in Invu, and fully content searchable and returnable. The security of the emails themselves are dictated by the security that's been configured in Invu. So if you've got an email that's gone to and from sort of the MDs or upper management, whatever, that doesn't matter. Once they're in Invu, it's the security in Invu that dictates who can see them and who can't. A little bit more technical information if you're interested. We do support Outlook 2007, 2010, 32-bit, and 2013 we'll support in July. Microsoft Exchange, we support 2003 onwards. As I mentioned earlier, we do support POP and IMAP, but POP servers can be a bit niggly, so that we do recommend a proof of concept wherever there's a POP server concerned. We do fully support SSL and TLS, so for the more security conscious organisations, that is fully supported. And we also support cached exchange mode for the Outlook add-in.